External rotation, pails and rails from a supine position, figure of 4. So I'm going to lay on my back and I'm going to take the working leg and I'm going to cross it over my other leg. So I can manipulate the range here by sliding the base foot in a little bit more and bringing this hip into a bit more external rotation, or I can slide that foot away depending on how much range of motion I have. So I'm going to pull that foot in, and then you should feel a stretch on the glue on that side of the cross leg. So you can actually play around with the pelvis and anteriorly and posteriorly tilt the pelvis to get a better stretch. So I find by anteriorly tilting my pelvis here, I get a better stretch in the glute. So that's me just trying to arch my lower back, sticking my chest out. So I've got a bit of space under here, allows me to get a bit more stretch in my glute on my working leg. So I'm going to hold this stretch first for 2 minutes. You want to try to keep the knee out. So try not to let the knee come in. You can, if you find it's hard during this pails and rails contraction to keep the knee away from your chest, you can just take a yoga block and just hold that in place. Especially on the rails contraction, it's quite easy for that knee to start to come in. So I normally just take a yoga block and place it on that leg, or if you can reach with your hand, you can use your hand instead. And I just hold it in place. So I'm going to find that stretch. It's important that we hold the stretch first for 90 seconds to a 2-minute hold, relaxing the breathing, trying not to move out of that stretch. So I'm trying to keep the same position the whole time. So our Pails contraction here, once I've held that stretch, is I'm going to take my foot and I'm going to try to drive it into this base leg. So it's as if I'm trying to push the foot through the leg and bring the hip into internal rotation. So I'm going to take my knee out, find my stretch, and I'm going to start to drive that foot in, about a 20% effort. Take it up to about 40%, 60%. I'm going to start to take that contraction quite hard and drive it through my leg, build it up to a nice strong effort, full body tension. And then with my safest, greatest effort, I'm going to hold that Pails contraction for anything between kind of 4 or 5 seconds up to 30 seconds. And then my rails contraction is I immediately try to lift the foot off the leg. Now, if you're in the end range of motion, the foot isn't going to come off. But what you're trying to do is pull that foot up towards your face, keeping the knee apart. So I'm going to try to lift the foot, make it light on my leg, and I should feel the inside tissue of my leg here. So the Pails contraction, I should feel it on the outside. Rails contraction, I should feel it on the inside. So rails contraction, I go straight from my Pails to rails and I hold that for the same amount of time at my greatest effort. And then after that ends, I relax. If anything, I can pull that into a little bit of a deeper stretch, and then I can go for round 2. So Pails, driving the foot into the leg. Rails, I'm trying to make the foot as light as possible, like I'm trying to get more external rotation of the hip. So that's your Pails and rails for a figure of 4 for external rotation.